Good afternoon, everybody. I won't like to make this a little bit of an easygoing, relaxed session, more a conversation, not a one-way conversation, but in both directions. I just want to say a big thank you to all the panelists for coming. Particularly Satya is the director of ID Tirupati. He's got He's got a lot of engagements, meetings, and also with the central government and traveling. So it's great that he could come for this event. No particular order of importance or not, but maybe we'll go with the oldest ones. Srivatsan. I will let them introduce themselves. What they studied and what they did and all that. I request them to do a little bit of a detailed, introduction of what they did, what their career was. But Srivatsan was also civil engineering from the 1984 batch. He lives in Bangalore. He came specially yesterday evening just for this event, and he's rushing back after the event to catch a train. So thanks, Vatsan. Then we have Pavani from L&T. I met her on campus here in IIT for a meeting, and I was very happy to see her enthusiasm for civil engineering. So I thought she would be a good person for this event. We have Vimala. So Vimala is a colleague at Keller. She's been now with us for almost 12 years. She worked in Bechtel for a little while. So it also gives a little bit of an international exposure, a multinational company. So I thought that would also be useful. And also I'm happy that we have two lady engineers here, because I also see a lot of lady engineers in the audience. So, if you have any specific questions with regard to how it is to work in civil engineering, then please do ask those questions. And I'm sure they can share their thoughts. Entrepreneurship is actually a very powerful driver, innovation, entrepreneurship for the industry to change the way we do things. I remember precast technology was a technique that was introduced by L&T, I would say maybe in the 60s, 70s, which changed the way construction was done. In fact, the ocean engineering building, the roof, is a precast roof, which is one of the early projects. The high-tech city in Hyderabad, the facade, lot of, I'm sure they've done thousands of projects, and Pavani is actually an expert in precast technology, so she can also share that. But talking about innovation, when I was talking to Satya, then I said, can we find a startup, a company, somebody? Then he told me, why don't you speak to Twasta? Actually, Mr. Balasubramaniam, he showed us the 3D printing machine, and then Parivartan and his company called Twasta actually is a startup from IIT Madras. You did IIT Madras B.Tech, which year? 2016. And actually his co-founder is actually a mechanical engineer. Oh, you're also mechanical. Okay. So it's also interesting that, two mechanic, I'll leave them to explain, but I just wanted that angle of that. And I wanted also somebody, we thought somebody who's really young, very early career, just in the industry 2-3 years, because they're much closer to where you are if you're looking for a job. So I thought, I would invite Madhu Nayak, who is, was early career. So we have a good mix, 2, 8, 12, 20, 30, so, and also various industries. So without taking up too much more time, maybe we'll start with this way and just go by. Madhu, you want to start? Okay. Yeah, you start. Just say.
Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. So as sir introduced, Madhu Nayak, I first let me thank you the organizers. They have invited me for the CEA Summit for 2025 at IIT Madras. So I want to take an honor to thank them first. And first I would like to start with my background. So I did bachelor's in civil engineering from a very small college in Warangal, so which is kids Warangal. So at that time civil engineering was not that popular. So people are only looking for civil engineering whether they want to go for government jobs. So there is a tendency of that mindset was there that particular time. But now the things are improving, because India is developing a lot. So infrastructure is obviously developing. So now we there is so much technology is building up. So now the generation is a little bit there is a tendency of changing the mindset. But in back then, so it was very, very tough to take the civil engineering and core branches, even mechanical also. So, but I was interested in civil engineering. Even my father insisted in IT, but I resisted. And then I chose myself and I went for civil engineering. So I faced sort of struggling there. So because that time there were lab facilities were not that extremely well. Now what you are currently getting. So everything has to do manually. So now all new equipments and new even, so basically later that time I couldn't able to use any single software. So later afterwards, then now new technologies has come. Even still there is a tendency people are struggling to use the software even now itself. There is a fearness in the students. But so we faced a lot things in the bachelor's time, and then we I got the good merit that time, and even I qualified in GATE, and then I got into NIT. So there I did my master's in environmental geotechnology. So basically that is a multidisciplinary branch which is only NIT Calicut is offering that time. So I thought that it's like a student mindset. If I go, get it there, I have the two options. Either I can go to environmental, or other option is geotechnical. So it's mixed branch. So but still in between I felt soil I very interesting. So obviously there is a saying in general I read somewhere. So constructing things, structural part is precast, pre-made. You can visualize and do the things, but soil is very complex. You cannot do. So you need to dive into it and understand the things, and then the real challenge comes. So I felt very interesting that time. So I took up one, real-time project related to soil pollutants, and I did the project. And then later, that time also again one more situation has come, COVID. So 19. So 20 time it was all institutes was closed. So I couldn't able to do even lab test properly. So I need to switch to again software. So that time my interest got shifted towards software. So I gradually built up learning the softwares, and then I learned few softwares, and then that helped me a lot for getting the jobs. So I prepared, and then I during that time placements was very low. No industry was interested to come to campus. So we started exploring by ourselves. So first 3 to 4 months was very struggle. So we couldn't able to do, though we are getting the jobs, but the package was very less. So even it's as low as below 5 lakhs. So it was very tough. Then so we and during that process also I started applying for PhD in abroad, and even I focused more on even learning the other softwares. So this is how parallelly I did my preparation, and then finally it's my privilege. I worked with Professor V.S. Raju. So I got into Professor V.S. Raju, and I worked there for 2.5 years. And then, so I was looking for, my course read the software. So I was looking for any software developing, MNCs. Then I found one Denmark-based MNC, which is Optum Computational Engineering. So they are offering a finite element geotechnical software. So I gone through the interview process and I selected. So now I'm working with, from last 1 year, I was working with Optum Computational Engineering. So where I was leading the entire India. So there, under me, 4 engineers were there, 2 were developers and 2 were engineers. So I'm leading them. And obviously, my role was helping the clients, because software will be sold out by the company. So ultimately, we need to provide the support to the clients, in terms of technical. So that in general, my responsibility there. So this is how things have been changed in my life.
Did your salary change when you change jobs?
Yeah. So it was huge. I would say 100% increment.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you very much, the organizers, for giving me this opportunity to sit here and give my views. I have graduated from IT Madras, mechanical department in 2016. But now, we have started the company after that, and now we are working in civil field. So, of course, I have graduated in mechanical, but now I'm working in civil field, more civil field. Yeah. So after graduation, there are different career opportunities, career paths that myself and my co-founder could take. At that point in time, we were passionate to build some new technology and then create a value. So it was a difficult decision at that point in time, not to go for a job or MBA or go to abroad for higher studies, but to start a company. But what we thought is, okay, let's try for 1 year. We will just take a chance. We'll try his idea for 1 year, and if it picks up, okay, we'll continue. If not, okay, we always can go back to jobs and then search and then get some good job. So based on that, we have started our journey. But before that, our foundation came during the studies, even during the college only, the courage to start a startup, that happened during our 4 or 5 year period in the institute. So back then, apart from academics, we were also going to something called a C5 club here. It's called Center for Innovation. So there we used to go and we used to tweak with some things, and we used to build some projects and stuff. So that gave some sort of a confidence for us that yes, we can also build some things and then create some value. So that helped us, and after that we could take that leap. And it's been almost 8 years since then. And now we are a team of about 80 people. So we have mix of civil engineers, electrical engineers, mechanical, software in our team. So what we do, sorry, I missed what we do, I guess. So what we do is we build construction 3D printers, as well as use the construction 3D printers to build different sort of houses or buildings. How it works is, imagine a sort of a machine going to the site and then doing layer by layer, and then it sort of finishes an building. Yeah, probably you might have heard about additive manufacturing, right? It's 3D printing, additive manufacturing. So that's what we do. Basically, you also might have seen in lab scale, small printers printing some plastic objects and stuff. But this is something in concrete. So basically, it's a large scale 3D printer which does printing in concrete. So we sort of design the model in a software and then feed the model to the machine. And then machine does the printing layer by layer, and then it sort of builds the building. Probably if anybody is interested, they can just Google concrete 3D printing. So you'll be able to find resources on that. Yeah. So I think after that, entrepreneurship journey. There will be ups and downs for sure. There are at times where things will not go right, At that time, we'll feel like, okay, wow, it's a very tough job. And then at times, there'll be times like when things click, and then, there'll be a point where, oh, this is working, and then probably a good sale happened, or this thing, whatever we were doing R&D, that thing cracked. So at that point in time, we will feel like, yeah, oh, it's like, so it's such a great achievement. And there'll be certain milestones in the entrepreneurship journey we'll hit, which will make it worthwhile. Like, it will get good recognition and sort of good satisfaction that something is, working out. Yeah, so far that's the journey. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, just a quick question. How did you come from mechanical to civil?
Yeah, actually, I did not, before starting, we did not have much idea on, like, what is the exact final application or the field we are going into. We want to do something with 3D printing. So when we are working on 3D printing, so we realized that, okay, construction could be a good application in 3D printing. And, there were conferences being held up in IIT Madras and, like, elsewhere. So based on that, like, we thought, okay, we'll do a prototype and then see how it works. And then that's how we sort of shifted into construction 3D printing. And yeah, so far it's great. And I think this technology can sort of have like very good applications in construction space and can bring in efficiency. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, dignitaries over here and my dear future innovators. First of all, I would like to thank Venu Raju sir for giving me this opportunity to be here. Basically, I am an unchosen civil engineer, and all these 18 years of my journey made me to be a passionate engineer, and where I am sitting here to give you some motivation to that you shouldn't feel guilt or you shouldn't feel distressed that why I have chosen this branch. So myself, Pavani Saroja, basically I am from Andhra Pradesh. Coming to my journey in this career as well as my education, I have done my BE in civil engineering from Geetham College, Visakhapatnam. In 2007, over my campus selections, I got job in Design Tribe India Private Limited, which is basically from Hyderabad. So I got an experience of almost 3.5 years, wherein I started learning the basics. So I got a privilege of working for the cement factory related works. I didn't get into L&T during my campus elections. I failed in the written interview itself. So in 2010, I joined as a lateral entry with a in buildings and bulk material handling sector. I got selected in 2010 December. I joined in L&T. It's been almost 15 years close to. I never looked back to any other field, or I never updated my resume. I'm still continuing there. The platform that L&T gave me made me to be a passionate civil engineer. So presently for the past 10 years in L&T, I was working into water infrastructure. Basically from childhood I have an interest of making something innovative. Even a small work given to me, I'll be just looking at how little different I can make than others. So when I entered into this water industry, due to my site visits and all, I understood like there is a lot of time taken to construct even a small guard room or an overhead tank or a WTP, water treatment plants. Generally I do handle with water structures like we from the source can be a river or a dam. From there we'll suck the water through intake well. So from intake well it reaches to water treatment units. From water treatment we treat the water there, and then it will be supplied through overhead tanks to the public. So in all these process, I understood like there is initially when I joined, the project timeline will be like 60 months. Slow on it came down to 48 months. So on now fast track projects are coming up for 24 months. So I joined the organization when the projects are working at the rate of 60 months. Truly a small guard room or a security room also does need that many people to be worked, and 60 days of time is required. It is not that something we are reinventing. Already across the world, people are doing in precast, faster construction technologies. Many things are happening. So that made me to think to do something innovative to my organization as well for the nation. So in that point of time, I started working on the faster construction technologies. It is nothing that I have invented something. People are already using, and I adopted to my water infrastructure business. So I can proudly say that a typical overhead water tank, which you generally see regularly over when you pass the road or very close to your house, it takes 200 days to 300 days of construction time. Now, because of this precast construction technology, we could be able to complete between the range of 20 to 30 days. So imagine the time saved is more than 90%, and the workmen that requires to construction of this is also saved by 90%. So this is what gave me a proud moment that yes, I'm a passionate civil engineer and I'm something doing for the nation. So thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon all. Thank you, Venu, for this opportunity to share my experience. I am Vimala. Currently, I am working with Keller Ground Engineering. I am basically from Tirupati, like near Tirupati. I am basically from a tiny village near Tirupati. So initially, from childhood, whenever I go out, I see some tall structures or bridges. Then I see something is different, like because I am from a small village. When you go to the town, when you see a tall building, I admire to see what is this, who made it, and it is not naturally come here. Somebody has given some, like might have done something. Then I understood later when I grown up, I understood it is by some civil engineer. So in that way, I got interest in civil engineering. So after my schooling, when I have an option to choose engineering, then I choose in civil engineering as my own choice. And also my parents also supported initially. And I'm proud to be a civil engineer as always. And but once I joined, after few months or years, the relatives or the neighbors started asking my parents, as well as my uncle is the one who supported me for choosing civil engineering. But they themselves got influenced by others. So after first year, there will be an option to shift your department. So my parents as well as my uncle asked me to check in the college whether you can shift it to IT department or civil or ECU, CSE or ECU, just check. Then I was not really not interested to check, but by name shake I just checked and I told there is no possibility to change. So I told my uncle there is no possibility to change now. So because even though I studied very few basics in the first year, maybe some materials, building materials we might have studied. So at the time itself I decided not to move. And only one subject we had in the first year, that is C+. Maybe in my mindset, or that may be my mindset, I literally cried for passing that paper. Before that, the day of exam, semester exam, I started crying. No, I can't able to study this one paper. Maybe that my mindset or my inner feeling. So that time itself, I decided I wanted to be a civil engineer. Then after my B.Tech, I tried many jobs. Unfortunately, I didn't get any good job. Even I tried job with low salary, maybe monthly at the time in 2011, even 10,000 nobody paid. I tried, but I couldn't get. I got, but very low salary, which I cannot survive. I need to depend on my parents. I am basically from a middle class family, so my parents already spend a lot of money for my graduate itself. So I can't depend on them again. Then I given exams for I decided to pursue my career, studies, higher studies, to become specialist in particular field. Then I have chosen geotechnical engineering because I wanted to work in the industry. I am more interested in that personally. So I have chosen geotechnical engineering at the time. Then during geotechnical engineering also in the last year, I got a campus interview from Tata. Initially they said that during interview time they said it is for they have some research and development department, so for that they are recruiting. Specifically they recruited geotechnical engineers for that. So I got selected in that and I waited for few months, 2-3 months, then they called me. I went to join induction program in Kerala. I went along with my father. It was a very big company, and being a reputed company, I'm happy. When I entered, they asked me to write coding. I said, what is this? I can't. Then I was struggling 2 days. to get, you give me clear roles and responsibilities, because during interview you said it is more related to civil and geotechnical. That is the reason I accepted your offer. Then they said, this is the process. You need to go through this. You need to study coding. You need to do. I said, no, I can't do that. Then I have written, I am not interested to join in your company. I am leaving. So second day I left from that induction program. Then it's not easy. Really, I had a very tough journey for the year, for first 1 year. So I was at home for 3-4 months. My parents started, because my father also came to TCS along with me. He's like, you got a very good job in the company, you left and you are sitting in home. After studying 6 years, you are sitting at home. I said, I'll get a job, you don't worry. Then I put my efforts to search for jobs. Then I shifted to I joined in one company in Chennai, which is related to civil, not related to geotechnical or design parts. It's more related to check kind of thing. Then that I joined for my survival purpose initially. I got good salary there, good package, close to 4 lakhs at the time. And after 1 year, I got opportunity in Keller. So when I get a job in Keller, the previous company, the notice period was 1 month. So Keller, they asked me to join in 15 days. So other company did not allow. I said, what do you want? I will pay for 15 days because I don't want to waste my 15 days. I want to join in my stream, my core company. Then I paid to the previous company and I joined in Keller. So that from the day one to now, I am really very happy to be initially as a civil engineer as well as a geotechnical engineer. I am very happy to be here. Now I am almost in between. I took a break, but otherwise I am working with Keller for past 11 years. I got very good opportunities. I am happy to share that I got opportunity in working in sites. Still now, even now I visit to site for making audits or to learn or to understand the things what is happening at site. And I got opportunities in different things like related to client management and doing design and interacting with the different people. And this is also one of the opportunity I got through Keller, I could say, to share my experience with you all. So I am really very happy to be here and happy to be a civil engineer always. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, you're probably the most determined civil engineering student I have met. Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks Venu for inviting me to be on this panel. I didn't even want to be an engineer. When I was in school, I was all set to go to med school. And then a friend of mine who wanted to write the JEE, he asked me to work with him as, a companion to write the exam. And so I said, okay. So I wrote the entrance exam. Unfortunately, I passed, he didn't. And so then I was faced with this thing saying, okay, I have a rank, but it's not a very fancy rank. What do I do? And at that time, they said you could join IIT after grade 11. So I said, I don't have to write one public exam. 1 full year of saving and no public exam. So I said, doesn't matter. I will join whatever branch I got. And that happened to be civil engineering, which actually turned out to be pretty cool because it came without any pressure. I had loads of fun. Till, of course, I got to the graduation point when I discovered there were no jobs. There were only 2 companies at that time that hired civil engineers for civil engineering jobs. There were lots of companies that hired civil engineers for marketing jobs. Okay, there were oil companies and there were many companies that did that. But the number of companies hiring for civil jobs, there was just 2. One was L&T, which due to certain reasons that year said we will never come to IIT Madras ever again. And that left me with the other option, which was Engineers India. Now, Engineers India, many of you know, is one of the largest consulting companies in this space. And they had openings for 3 divisions. One was design, one was computers, and one was construction. IIT engineers, they would typically consider for design or computers. I knew nothing about computers. And I said in the interview, I want a construction job. So that HR guy just sat up upright saying, what, really, you want to go into construction? I said, yes, I am a civil engineer. I've never been on a construction site, so I want to go into a construction job. And then he said, yeah, very good. You can spend a few years in construction, then you can go to design. You will be like complete civil engineer. And I got completely conned by that. So I took up the construction job. I landed up at a remote work site. Of course, I loved being there. I spent 2 years there. Then I went back to him. I said, look, I've spent 2 years on a construction site. Will you please move me back to design? He said, oh, company policy doesn't allow that. So I was stuck now, right? Because I loved my job. I was having fun, but I didn't want to remain in one remote location for the rest of my life. And what this man was telling me was that I had no choice but to spend the rest of my life in construction. So I decided to go back to studying. Now, while at IIT, I had already done many of the M.Tech courses. So doing an M.Tech didn't quite seem the thing to do. So I did the next best thing, which was go into an MBA program. So when I was graduating, so I finished my civil engineering here in 1984. I went to IIM Ahmedabad in 86, 88 when I was finishing. At that time, most of the business school jobs were in banking, they were in consumer products. I wanted something that had a connection to my civil engineering background. What I had studied, the construction work that I had done, and quite by chance, this company that nobody had heard of at that time, today it's a big brand, Apollo Hospitals, they came looking for people to help them build a large number of hospitals. And so there I found my answer to two problems. One, the fact that I wanted to be a doctor, but I didn't become a doctor, but somehow fate was taking me back into the healthcare space. Two, the fact that I wanted a job post an MBA that had a strong civil engineering connection. So it kind of ticked two boxes for me. And so I went to work for the hospital industry. I had a blast. I constructed over the next 10 years about 30 hospitals across the country, all of which are flourishing today. I built hospitals which are corporate hospitals. I set up hospitals, you saw in the morning, for a spiritual leader, which is probably the only hospital in the whole world which treats patient at no cost. But after about 10 years of having worked in setting up hospitals, I decided to branch out. By then, there's opportunities opening up in technology. And I said, maybe I want to work in the technology space. So I kind of moved a little into the health tech space. I spent about 10 years working in the health tech space. I used to run a small healthcare business for IBM. When I was leaving IBM, I was kind of wanting to become an entrepreneur. And the area we chose was insurance administration. So we started a company in 2011 that does insurance administration, uses a lot of technology. You must have all heard about Ayushman Bharat, which is the country's premier health insurance scheme for the underprivileged. My company administers that. We take care of the health insurance of about 150 million people. So it's kind of been a journey where I wanted to be something. I ended up at a fantastic institution, and then I just allowed life to happen to me. And I've had fantastic experience right through, got to be an engineer, helped advance medical treatment facilities in the country. It's been a great journey.
Fantastic, Vatsan. One of the reasons actually, we said, even though Vatsan is not right now in the civil engineering space, it shows how starting a civil engineer, you can also, go into different areas. He went into tech, he went into, basically it's back to in a way an IT backbone, right, for all the processing, all these transactions between insurance companies and hospitals. So, yeah, and thanks, Vatsan. Yeah. Satya.
Yeah, thank you. So just a little background about myself. That's the framework he had given us. So I did B.Tech here in civil engineering along with Venu and Srivatsan and Professor C.V.R. Murthy, who is sitting here, former director of IIT Jodhpur, currently prof here. So when I was finishing up my B.Tech, the last thing I said I was going to be an academic. Last thing will be being an academic. So, we were applying for jobs, as Srivatsan said. Srivatsan, I think even Gammons came and recruited us. Sundarvel went to Gammons. I also got a job in Gammons. And then I started, at that time, most of the students were applying. 70% of the class in IIT Madras was going abroad. So though I was not keen on the higher studies, everyone was applying, I also started applying. But then I was not in the top of the class, I was somewhere in the middle of the class. Then I said, if I'm going to do something, let me do a different area from what everyone is doing. Everyone would go for structures, was the first choice, or geotechnical, and then transportation. Because later on, transportation became an area where a lot of people were going. But at that time, it was just starting, that people were starting to venture into structures. So I said, if I have to apply, let me do something different. And what is my better chance of getting this, given that all the toppers are applying to transportation and, structures and all these things. But more importantly, so I went and spent some time in the library trying to understand where civil engineering is heading and all that. And I found that there were these universities offering construction management. And I don't think any IIT graduate earlier went for this area of construction engineering management. So I applied for that, and I luckily got an assistantship to go to Clemson University. So did my master's there. And I said, okay, I'll do my master's and then get into some construction company or get into a job or consulting. But as you're doing your master's, you do an MS thesis where you're doing some research. Then when you're doing that, I felt that, oh, this is something interesting. I would like to do my PhD now. So I applied for a PhD, and I went to Clemson University in US and applied to a few other universities. I got offers, but then I liked my professor there, and the topic that was possible I was going to work, I was interested. So I continued for PhD. I said, after PhD, I'll go for probably a consulting job. Okay, still not interested in being an academic at that stage. So as I was doing my PhD, I was a teaching assistant in charge of geotechnical lab at the university. And there in US University, once you're in charge of the lab, you go teach the full lab as a teaching assistant, right? My prof came only for the first class, to the prof who was teaching the course. And after that, the rest of the semester, you handle the whole lab, you teach it, you clean up the lab, you wash everything. There's no technicians also. I did that for a few years, and then I said, okay, and also I used to teach a few course classes here and there when the prof is off. I said, this is also interesting, So I asked my prof actually to let me teach a full course at Clemson in my last year, to convince myself that this is something I would be interested in. So they gave me an opportunity teaching a course, full course. And that's when I said, okay, this is something that I seem to be liking, I'm comfortable, and decided to go into the academia. One thing is, those days, those of us who went abroad, 90% never came back. But I had decided that I was going to come back. And usually people would say that I will get a job, work for a few years, make a little money, get experience and come back. But I'd studied this whole scenario. There's this thing called X plus 1. That X is constant, and every year, one more year, and before that your family you have kids, and no one wants to come back. So I said, I defended. 1 week later on, I took the plane and came back. This thing, and luckily I had an offer at IIT Madras, because IIT Madras was planning to start this area of construction engineering and management, and we had a visionary head of the department there, Professor C.S. Krishnamurthy, who saw that this is an area that there's a big lacuna in the country and we need to develop this. And also the division that I joined, building technology, was more in materials and this, and it was not doing that well. So he said, we need to give new focus to this section. And so that gave me the opportunity to come back and get involved. And when you say a leader is when he had so much to sing, he put me in charge of revamping the whole curriculum. Fresh, as just joined person, introduced a number of courses in the construction engineering and management area. And then that program has grown. Today, IIT Madras Construction Engineering and Management Program, along with my colleagues Koshi Varghese and later on others joined, is today the leading program. And if you go to any IIT, whether you go to IIT Bombay or IIT Delhi or IIT Guwahati, everywhere the students are, or anywhere you go, finally you'll find the roots go back to IIT Madras in terms of in the area of construction and management. All that I'm saying all this is because I decided to take a different thing from what everyone else is doing. Okay, that opened up different opportunities to take it forward. And of course, as a faculty member, you're doing a job, and then suddenly you find out where are your strengths, and then of course took on some administrative roles, which led me to end up being a director. But more importantly, I think I was here for part of the talk that Venu gave, is where he talked about civil engineering was not the first choice. For me also civil engineering was not the first choice. My dad was a chemical engineer. My first choice was mechanical engineering, otherwise chemical engineering. But based on the rank that I had, I got civil engineering. But once I got into the branch, he said we should take it seriously. And start enjoying it and learn it whatever way you can. So that, I think what happens is the students who wanted, for example, in the IIT especially, people come here, they say, oh, I wanted to get that, I didn't get this, so 4 years somehow I go through it, and it's a torture for them, it's a torture for the faculty also who are teaching, because students are sitting in front of students who are not interested. You have to keep motivating yourself to teach at a level where with only a small fraction of the students really interested. But what you will learn later on, even if you go on to other areas, whatever you learn never gets wasted, okay? Never gets unused. It will come useful at some point of time. So it's, even if you think you're going this thing, better to learn what you're learning well, okay? And the other thing is, today things are so interdisciplinary. Like what Twasta is doing. You need, when you're talking about 3D printing, you need it to be, you need to look at it from the perspective of the mechatronics, your robotic arms that you need to use there, the software that need to do the modeling first. I had to do a full 3D model of what I'm going to print. And then I need to have understanding of the robotics that are involved there, the arm that traces the path with the right speed, at the right discharge, and so on. And most importantly, the right design of the material that is going to be printed. Okay, I think that's a big challenge. The robotic part is making it as a thing, but the rheology of the material and the setting time and how does it bond with the next agent. The rheology part of it is the thing which comes to the material science of the civil engineering part of it, right? So point I'm making is, it's interdisciplinary. If you really want to do things today, you should look at things from different perspectives. And today with AI, ML, data science, all of us have to be aware of these opportunities, of these requirements. If you say, I'm just going to do this, it's not enough, okay? Now coming to the opportunities in the civil engineering sector. And this is what I've been talking about extensively in various forums, right? Is my worry for the country. That we say we still have to build 50% of our infrastructure in this country. Whether it's roads, ports, airports, water systems, wastewater systems, housing, commercial stuff, right? We still have to build, if we want to be, we're talking about Viksit Bharat 2047, and we had to grow at the rate. Yesterday, at my institute at IIT Tirupati, we had the Finance Commission, the 16th Finance Commission chairman, the former Niti Ayog vice chairman, Arvind Panagaraya. He was at our campus, Panagaraya. So he was in our campus and he was talking about the growth rate we should have to get to Viksit Bharat if you want to be a developed nation in terms of income. Because apparently the thing is, if you consider developed nation, if your per capita income is more than $14,500 or so, okay, compared to what it is now, which is $2,500. This is on 2023 dollar basis, okay. Now, if I have to do that, I have to grow at 7.8% continuously based on the original dollar basis. But if you take inflation all that, you have to grow at a much higher rate. Now, if you have to do that without strong infrastructure, you cannot do it. You need to have strong infrastructure. Now, who is going to build this infrastructure? Who is going to run this infrastructure in this country? And this is where the challenge is. Who is from Gitam? You're from Gitam, right? So I was sharing this with Dr. Raju and another AECOM director, another Raju, the other day. So Gitam, how many students were there in your class when you studied in Gitam? 60 students. So they had one section, right? And they filled up the section if you had 60 students. 2023 November, I went to Gitam, they had only one student join civil engineering, okay? With the thing and most of the thing. Now we have to build all this. Now, so when do you enter? If you've seen stock market, when do you enter the stock market? When is it? Everyone enters when stock market is raising, so everyone jumps in at the peak. You enter the stock market when it is at low, right? So this is an opportunity because there is no supply of civil engineers there, and earlier at least there was some supply. So when in terms of salary, of course I'll come to that point. So the opportunity is you need to build so much. How many trillions of dollars it works out, I don't know, in terms of the business that going into construction. There are more than 5 crore people involved in construction in the country, right? Mostly the laborers and the skilled person. The challenge is the starting salaries are low, right? That's where, and because this is an industrial challenge, the way the industry is, it's highly competitive. Margins are quite small. So companies can't afford to take the risk of paying higher salaries unless they get productivity out of that by paying the higher salary. So, but the other question I've been asking every time I meet a student of mine or I meet an industry person, I ask, how much are you making? I say, I want this data. I know it's a personal information, but I want to make a case out of this. So in January, we had the Pan-IT conference in Mumbai. So I met a couple of my old students from our Build India scholarship program here at IIT Madras. So I was asking them, these guys were about 12, 13 years out after finishing their M.Tech here. So they said, if we continued in L&T, for example, or in that company, they were probably making 60, 70 lakhs now, okay? But they said if they made a jump to some other company like Reliance or one of those other companies, they were making 80 lakhs to a crore, okay? Now, after this is the salary that you make. Other day we were talking, when we were discussing at the night, again the same question I asked, how much does AECOM? AECOM is the world's biggest consulting company, civil engineering consulting company in the world. So they have a big base in India also. So he says the person with about 20 years experience and who is good will make something like 2 crores plus, right? Now that is the thing. Now if you're in the software sector, what happens is you start a little bit high, you grow as this thing, and then you plateau off. After 40 years, you're not wanted in that sector. They're looking at every excuse to bump you out, right? Because they can't afford you anymore. So you start a plateauing out. But then this is a slow, initially it's very slow. Then today people ask you with the industry, but you should be good, you should learn, you should be up to date. It starts taking off really fast. If 3-4 years experience, if you're really good, but important thing is you have to have the skills. Again, he was telling there are 3 things we look for in these people. Can you get us the job? Can you execute it? and then can you collect the money? Okay, you should have that capacity to do all these three. You can't expect to get 2 crores and then not able to get the payments done, right? So you have to have that skill to sell the company's ability to sing. So you have to pick up those skills. You have to be technically very strong. In addition to that, you should be able to get the business for that organization if you want to get that kind of salary. If you want to do regular design, you're the thing, and I'm happy with the thing. But if you want that kind of salary, you have to pick up these skills of bringing business, of getting it executed, and then getting the money also collected. Okay. Otherwise, the company will not survive. If the money is not collected, it will die. Right. So point I'm making is you need to pick up all the skills as you're growing, and then you're really there in the market, ready to make 2 crores, maybe in 25 years even 4 crores, 5 crores kind of salaries I know in the industry people make today, in the construction industry, okay, per year. So you have to have that patience. The first, as Srivatsan was telling, first 2 years slogging it out in the field, right? And where Miryalguda, where were you? Khammam, in the hot, where the temperature goes to 50 degrees in summer, right? And so on. So first 2 to 5 years, you must be ready to invest and keep learning the process. Then the opportunities are there, but you should have the patience and ability to learn and do that. So the point I want to leave is, to close with, is the opportunities are immense. Startings, things are going to be low. I don't think they're going to take off very soon because of the way the industry is structured. But you have a lot of, potential to grow, and the country has to grow. If I have to go at 7.5, I'm talking about what the Finance Commission chairman who decides on how the money is going to be allocated in the country in the next 5 years, right? He's talking about these issues. And without strong, in India, we had this first till 1990s, we had what we call the Hindu growth of rate, when we were growing at some 3.5%, slow and steady, like a cow crossing the road slowly. Whatever traffic is happening, the cow will keep going at its own pace. But now, with the last few years, we've been growing anywhere between 5 and 8%, depending on the year and so on. And if we have to continue, and with the vision of the Prime Minister and the general aspiration of the country to become a modern country in the next thing, unless you have infrastructure, and the fact that infrastructure is required for the economic growth is when actually happened only in the late 1990s, during Vajpayee's time when they started building these big roads and other things, that you have to invest in infrastructure for the growth. That realization, it has sunken in the country. And I think the realization is there, so a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you, Satya. That's a great introduction, and also the context to where we are today. So, just watching our clock, it's 2:55. So the way we thought is we would have a few preset questions, and we'll just discuss a little bit amongst ourselves for a little while, and then we'll open the questions to the floor, so that you also can ask questions which are important to you, to any of the panelists. So I'll just go with, I think some of the questions have actually already been answered, but to nobody in particular, feel free to raise your hand or say you'd like to talk about it. What made you choose civil engineering? What did others say when you chose civil engineering? So I think we had some thoughts around that. Anybody wants to add anything? Was there any negative energy when you chose civil engineering? Did people say don't do it? I think for you, yeah?
Yeah, definitely it was there. Through known people or very few people.
Yeah.
Very few people that I told, like they influenced my parents, and they tried to say why being a female or girl, why how she can survive, how she can work at site, it is not possible. So in that way it came, but I liked the civil engineering field, so I don't want to change. That I was I was very determined to be in civil. And later also I tried to convince my parents. Still my mother, even now, whenever I tell that I'm going to the site, she feels I am working hard. but I love to visit sites. I love to do that. In early career, like some 6 months I was in site. One day my uncle came to Chennai, so he came to site. When I was in site, he came there. And he also worried because I was only female engineer there. Even from client side also, it is completely male engineers. But I didn't feel much difference. Sometimes I feel little tired kind of thing. But since I try to manage myself.
Okay. Thanks. Pavani, maybe some thoughts?
Yeah. Actually, it's a complete reverse case in my case. My father is basically a civil engineer, so always he used to talk about cement, sand, steel, nothing more than that. The morning he leaves office at 8 a.m. in the morning, and night maybe 10:30 after we sleep. So morning I used to not to spend much time with him, and evening time also I couldn't. Even Sundays he used to work. So that's what my feeling of civil engineering means, always busy. He doesn't spend time with me. But the other way around, when we go along with him, even in a small road, the respect that we get, he is into government. Actually, he has passed when he was a deputy executive engineer. So the respect that we go on the roads, even now if I go to my village, they'll call me daughter of Ramakrishna. Even if I had my own credibility also, I'll be called as daughter of Ramakrishna. So he studied in Andhra University. The service that he has made, the contributions that he has given to the society, those things are there, positives. But still the cement stand, all these things, the time that he has spent with people more than us made me to hate little. So since he passed away, my mother is a single woman and she was a very strong woman. We are 4 daughters. I'm the first daughter. She didn't give me any choice. You people all have a choice. Even now at the first year, sir was telling, even at the second year, taking a choice to go to some other branch. That time, even if with eyes itself, my mother used to talk, she just said me, you are going to pick civil engineering. So she tried that I'll get in Andhra University, the same college where my father has studied. Unfortunately, I couldn't get just in one seat in front of me. I got in Geetham College. So with hatred only, I have completed my civil engineering with not much interest. My grades in structure analysis and design are B. When it comes to theoretical subjects like pattern, CPM, transportation, my grades will be A. So this is how somehow I completed, and I joined in my first campus elections. Even in that campus elections, I scored 70% in group discussion and almost 30% only in technical. But still my MD of my old company has understood my skills of convincing, the way I manage, the way I talk. So since she is good in that, definitely if I train her technically, she'll be taking up the challenging role. So that's what he gave me a platform. The training that he gave me personally for the past 3.5 years, I was working with him dedicatedly. So that gave me a challenging position. So even that moment also didn't give me that proud feeling. In 2020, from the Energy and Environment Foundation, I was nominated as a Global Women Professional Award I received. That also didn't give me that feeling of something. But in 2021, when I visited to one of my project sites, which I have with a lot of interest in Uttar Pradesh under Jal Jeevan Mission, some 3,000 overhead tanks has to be constructed. As I have told you, for that I have made a precast method of construction. I was busy only in designing, and I was not truly focusing on whatever I'm designing, what is happening at site. Truly, I was not focusing on. One day I was invited to site, so my vehicle is going into the precast yard. Trust me, first time I have got goosebumps on me, so that whatever I am designing, I could be able to touch, I could be able to feel, I could be able to see, oh, is that what I am designing? I could be able to see, is that the revolution that I have made? Whatever the awards, whatever the recognitions I got also didn't give me that much feel. But the day I went and visited the innovation that what I have done is happening on ground, gave me a lot of energy. So this is what from my end.
Excellent.
My mother says to me, says everyone proudly, that time she got a negative energy that why are you choosing her already? My father with stress, people will say with stress only he is no more. Why are you choosing a woman to be a civil engineer? But out of 4, 2 of our daughters, like 2 of her daughters are civil engineers. One is working in L&T, the other one is working in Mega. So both of us are very much ambitious in career. So all of our success she will be sharing with my father's friends, her friends, just to show that my decision is not wrong.
Okay. Very good. So what I suggest is, now I'd like to open it to the floor. The topic is really choosing civil engineering and early challenges. If you have any question or if you want to share some of your thought, please do so. Hello?
Hi sir, I'm Ashrit. My question is to Satya sir. A small thought that I have is like when I was given option to choose civil engineering, mechanical engineering or the counseling time, I don't have a maturity to choose any of the branches, nor I have knowledge about CS, nor I have knowledge about civil engineering, nor I have knowledge about mech. When I came in after 1 year, it automatically, because I was studying it, I don't have an option of changing. So it automatically built up. But when you entered it, you will be having an insecurity that you are bottom of some two other branches and you were chosen because of rank, and they are not interested in electrical engineering, nor I am interested in civil engineering, nor the other people interested in naval architecture or something. Why can't this be changed? Like anyway, for all of us, the first year subjects are same. So after first year, couldn't there be an option of choosing according to the number of slots available by any mode of thing? Is this thought discussed in any point of time in IIT's thing?
Are you saying that you enter without any branch and after first year you choose a branch?
Yeah.
Right. That's been talked about, but somehow it's most institutes they don't agree for it. Because it's a big shift in the way it's been happening in India, right? You choose your branch at the beginning, and if you have to change something at the core, it becomes very, very difficult. Okay, so in fact, even 3 months back, I was having a discussion the same thing with some of our colleagues, saying that why don't we do that? This is something that if the younger IITs will definitely not do it, because at least we get some of the better ranked students because you have all this computer science and all that at the higher pecking order. But if something like that has to be done, it has to be at the first generation IITs. Then it can happen to the other IITs. Okay, so it's not very easy, this thing. Now, but then, are we going to make a country of only computer science? See, I'll give you an example. The challenge is this from a national perspective also. If you say everyone wants to study computer science, right? I told you we still have to build 50% of infrastructure, right? Our hope is that at least if 100 of you join IIT Madras, if 10 of you at least go into the industry, there is someone there. But if there's no one, who is going to be building this industry? I mean, this infrastructure that is required in the country. So that we have to look at it from all those different angles. Okay.
So you're saying that everybody would pick computer science, for example?
Yeah, as I told you, as you mentioned today in your earlier talk based on our discussion last week, every VITs or SRMs or all this private things, 60 sections, 55 sections of computer science, full. And civil, one section which they're not able to fill, right? So, but these things also go in cycles. This demand supply also goes in cycles. There's a demand now, the same. From a national perspective, I cannot shut down civil engineering in all the institutes, say that everyone go study computer science. What will happen? Who will run our industry? I'll give you an example. Take chip design, right? Take the chips, semiconductor chips. 25% of the chip designers in the world are sitting in India. 25% of all the chip design that's happening in the world happens in India. We can't make a single chip. Okay? We are now only setting up the semiconductor fab industry. Okay? You look at EVs. What is the basic thing in the EV? The battery. Even today in the country, we don't make a single cell. We import everything from China. Okay? Can we be so, if everyone sits and does only design and this thing, we are great at sitting at a computer and doing designs, but we can't make anything, right? And if we just say that everyone does only this, we'll make nothing in this country. As it is, we are so weak in manufacturing. You know, manufacturing accounts only for 15% of our GDP. You know, which is a very low percentage for a country of this size. Why? Because again, one of the big challenge, why are the countries that are moving out of China not coming to India but going to Vietnam, going to Thailand, Indonesia? They say, I can't find workforce in India. Workforce in India in the sense that guys are forced to study mechanical engineering, but they're not learning the skills and they're not interested in coming and joining those jobs. You know, Tata's, they're setting up their semiconductor factory in Gujarat. Right? Where are they going for, where are they finding their people? They go on and advertise in Taiwan for technicians and engineers. Okay? So that is a challenge that we have. If you say everything will go just by the market demand at that point of time, we have to look at 20 years, 30 years down the line what the country needs. And we need to have this thing, right? So if you don't want to do, if you want to study computer science, go to some other college. Why do you want to come this thing, right? You want the brand, the IIT Chapa, so that it opens up other windows for you for other things.
My question was like, I don't even want to study computer science nor the civil engineering.
Yeah.
Just I know about IIT, I'm good at maths. I
Yeah.
was thrown into writing JEE, I got a seat.
Yeah.
I don't know about anything about computer science because
Correct.
I did not study it.
So that's the problem with our, but see, at the age of 17, you really don't know what you want, right? Very often. That's why I say, people saying that you should decide, that's why I've been very much against this dual degree program, this, choosing it at the time of entrance itself, right? You don't even know what is computer science. You're asking them to teach thermal or choose structures or geotechnical at the time of joining the IIT, right? So, well, that's a whole different thing. You got coached in cracking exams. You got into the IIT. You want that IIT Chapa so that things open for you. Then I was saying just keep everything in that. I just go with the market force, whichever is paying me the highest. Let me take that and go for that. I don't think that institutions and the national priorities in terms of which areas to the thing happens. Now that's a choice you made.
But is that not the base of the problem? Like every one of us come from that point itself.
Yeah.
Even if you take Pavani ma'am, like she in first year when she was doing C++, she was not at all interested. She was not at all interested in C++. After first year, if she had an option of choosing CS, she would have never gone, right?
Yeah, but the question really is, if everybody chooses the same thing, that is the problem. If everybody says, I want to pick computer science because that pays the best salaries, then you don't have any other engineers left. That's the problem.
But it's happening now also, right?
Yeah, I acknowledge that. It is a problem.
That's what I said. If at least 100 out of the 100 students, I'm able to get 10 of the students to go on, at least I have certain this. Otherwise, it's going to be zero.
This is quite a hot topic, but I think it's a good question. It's a good point. We should consider that. Any other question on choice? There's a lady there. Yeah. Maybe you can take one more mic and then pass it on.
Good afternoon, sir. I wish to ask a question to Venu Raju, sir. Sir, whether higher education gives career growth or years of experience in construction site gives career growth?
That is actually question number 3. Did further study M.Tech, MS, PhD make a difference? So it's a similar question. I think if you want to be a good, say, structural engineer or a geotechnical engineer or a transportation engineer, you should definitely do an M.Tech, I think. M.Tech or an MS. The B.Tech, 4-year B.Tech, makes you a good general civil engineer. But if you want to be a specialist in, let us say, structural engineering, I feel you should do a master's in that. The other option is, of course, you might say, well, I just join a company and work in that division and get experience. But I feel at that young age, when you graduate, you're 22, 23, that next few years, try to learn more and more, at least another 2 years of study. So,
Another question to all.
I'll just add to that. Today in civil engineering, I think if you want to get into design, it's very desirable you get a master's, whether it's in geotechnical or environmental or structures. Because what's happening is, when we studied B.Tech, back in 84 when we finished, 79 joined 84, we had a 5-year batch. We did 2 courses in structural analysis. We did 2 courses in concrete design, right? We did 2 courses in survey, 2 courses in drawing, civil engineering drawing, and so on. So you got to, learn enough to do reasonable design. But today it's all brought down, right? You just do 1 course. Now I believe IIT Madras has brought both structures, concrete and steel into 1 course in the B.Tech, right? You just get to just sample what it is and just learn terminology and a little bit. So if you really want to get into a design, you need to do an M.Tech, okay? I think it's become essential given the requirements of the SIG. So I strongly, but if you want to get into construction directly into the field, then probably you can go with your B.Tech. Because there you need to pick up skills. You need to understand basic civil engineering, but you need to have a lot of experience, ability to manage people, manage expectations of customers, manage the local dynamics. All these things have to be managed, right? If you have that aptitude, then of course you can do a master's in construction management or a business management and still go there. But their experience becomes very useful from the thing. Even in design, it takes you time to become a good designer. In the US, if you want to be a professional, certify any drawing, you have to get PE. To get PE, after your undergraduation program, you have to write an exam called EIT. It's called something else now. Earlier it was called engineering training. And then work under a professional engineer for 4 to 5 years, and then take the PE exam, and then only you'll be eligible to sign drawings, because it takes time. You have to learn a lot of detailing, you have to learn a lot of issues, a lot of codal requirements and so on. Yeah, you had another question.
Yeah. Another question to all of you, sir. Many companies recruiting students based on their marks and CGPAs, but what about the other students who have talents but not able to score good marks?
Watson didn't get good marks, I think.
By the time I got to the core civil engineering department, my grades were so low that my father was getting worried. He said, you went to engineering college, you should have some grades that you can at least mention to people. Forget mentioning to a recruiter. Okay, but somebody else asked me this question. In all these years, okay, no one has really asked me what my CGPA is. Okay, maybe for selection into a PG program, they might ask you, but to go into, say, a construction job, or typically not really. Okay. However, if you didn't get good marks because you didn't study at all, then you have a problem.
You talked a little bit about you got a low score on one thing, but on the technical, but you got a high score on communication or management. So maybe you can just say a few words on that.
As I said, because of my marks, I didn't get selected in L&T in the first core. Not even written test I qualified. But now L&T won't leave me even if I want to go out. They will be ready. I never demanded, but they'll be ready to make me to stay there. So that's what, it will change. So it's only your ownership only matters for any field. For you to sustain that ownership, and the work discipline only matters. There are people who is working from 9 to 5. There are people who are working from 9 to 9, and there are people working from 9 to 12. COVID times are my times. I felt like I worked from 9 to 12. I used to see when my kids will sleep and I'll be just running towards the work. So that period I have encashed like anything. So that gave me, it is not that I have done for my career growth alone. It has also helped my personal growth as well. So it all depends upon your ownership and your work dedication only. So that takes you to any heights.
So what can be done to the students who cannot attend the placements? Whether they can go for government jobs or they need to search for jobs privately.
See, definitely after M.Tech there is an option of going for the government jobs. As sir said, I got in Engineers India Limited when I am 1 year experienced, but I have not joined in that organization, such a big organization, with the fear of going to a north place, being a South Indian. Till today, I feel like why I have missed it. But when I have seen my works, what I was doing, that regret is not much. But for a lot, yes, almost for 2-3 years or 5 years, I was feeling bad that why I have lost that Engineers India Limited. People will be waiting to join there. I have kept still that appointment order on my desktop. So it is not that, even today, just to share as a story, I generally encourage my subordinates or whoever with the stories only. That only mentors them or that only motivates them, not that I have given a big theory of technical, those blah, blah and all. So I'll be just motivating with what I have pass through all these things. So there are many options. It is not only that, there are a lot of organizations are there to, even that's what the pay scale matters. You people are worried about that first 0 to 5 years pay scale. Later, as sir was rightly saying, at one point of time, IT and computer science cannot pay you. You have already touched the peak point. But in civil engineering, your knowledge matters, your rich experience matters. After 40 years experience also, we will not be left from our organization. They were kept for 50 more years or 10 more years, or they are continued as an advisors, because we are not getting that stuff. Between me and my CEO, there is a gap of almost 30 years. There is no mid-level management people. So in civil engineering and in this particular core topics, experience matters a lot. Unlike in computer science and all, after 40 years, you are not good enough. But in civil engineering, even you are valued at 60, you are valued at 75, you are valued at 80. You all will be treated as an advisors for the organization.
I just want to add one more point in that.
Sure.
I truly
Hold the mic.
I agree with her, because initial stage we need to put lot of effort. In any companies, initially when they are trying to recruit, they mainly see whether you are very strong in basics. Knowing that you are a fresh out of college, being a student, they'll not expect so much from you, whether you are very strong in your basics or not. So only that they check in the interviews. So once you prove that, and after entering, there will be opportunity and they will train you according to their requirements. So how fast you are picking up, how you are putting your hard work. Initial days, definitely there will be a lot of struggles, maybe few years. After that, again, as she mentioned, once you grow up and when your experience is getting increased in civil field, a lot of requirements will be there when you have experience. In my personal life, my husband is a software engineer. He always tells to everyone, his friends and everyone, I no need to worry after 40 years because my wife is a civil engineer. Definitely he
That's a good one.
Yeah, this is true. Many times he mentioned
really?
to many
Okay.
people. Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Just one quick remark on marks. One of the things is just also, in addition to marks, confidence, passion, communication, for you to stand up like this and ask a question, all those things in life make a lot of difference. In companies, you should have passion first of all, and then you should also be able to communicate and speak well. So those are things. I'd like to switch the topic now a little bit. Maybe just for a moment, a career switch. The topic of career switch. Did you, I know you did, but in any of the panelists, did you consider a career switch somewhere along the way? Watson, was yours a career switch? It was, no, in a way?
It depends on how you define a career switch. I would call it more a career progression. It was just the dots leading me to the next thing. Okay, if, for instance, if I had not gone into that construction job and faced that situation of not being able to transfer within the company, I might probably never have gone into. If Engineers India had allowed me to move to the design department, I would probably have worked at Yale my whole life.
Yeah.
So it is just a progression which leads me to believe, let life happen.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Thank you. Next, now I think let us move on to. It's 3:20. We'll try and. So the next theme we have is, how do you see this profession evolving, and what should students today focus on? Any one of you would like to? How do you see this profession of civil engineering evolving, and what should students today focus on?
Yeah. So just to touch upon, when we are sort of looking for civil engineers, what do we look for, right? I mean, there are, different sort of roles. One is we need some expert, technical expert in certain field, like, for material design, for example. So we need a technical expert there. So then we look for, either master students or a PhD student, right? Or sometimes we need like project engineers, site engineers, and different kind of people. So at that point in time, we look for experience. So I think, just to touch upon your previous question, one of the previous questions. So I think in the starting stage, what matters is what is the work that is done in the college. I mean, if there are any sort of extracurricular activities or like, any leadership positions or things like that are taken, or or a good grade. Definitely, I mean, in student stage, like having good grades will definitely help in that, getting that initial boost. But after I think 2-3 years of experience in the resume, no longer like, the CGPA is seen. After that, like what is seen is like what are your career achievements and stuff. So I see like, a lot of growth happening in the civil industry, and now we are looking at, sir was mentioning about like millimeter precision of projects that are coming up, So I think the industry, right now industry, like there is a mindset like, okay, Mestris can also do like, a lot of stuff like for small buildings and stuff like that, right? But I think it's going to like a more, where like, we need that engineered skill, like we are looking at like multiple high-rise buildings, like, multiple roadways projects, multiple irrigation projects, and a lot of projects which requires like a lot of design and thought into it. So I see, lot more skilled people needed into the industry, and also like the technologies are also evolving. Like right now we need like rapid construction. We no longer can afford to have so many people at site and then doing like work slowly. So now there are like precast, 3D volumetric, and 3D printing, what we are working on, and there are GFRG panels. So a lot of new technologies are coming, which speed up things. So I think in this evolving space, I think knowing about like more new technologies and then getting versed with what is happening and how do we sort of upskill in these technologies. So I think that will help. Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to say something? Yeah.
Add to that. So as I mentioned earlier, things are becoming very interdisciplinary. It's you need to be aware of the related technology. So a lot of opportunities. One of the things that other day also someone was mentioning that all the startups in this domain that are related to civil engineering are very often not by civil engineers, like him, mechanical engineers who came and did the. For example, today we talk about using drones to go. And you go and just map that place, how many cubic meters of earth has been placed, right? Because now you're able to get to millimeter level precisions and all those things. Now, if there was a company that came to me and said, we'd like to do that, do some pilot in your campus and all that. Who are these guys? Computer science guys. Okay. Computer science guys who are learned image processing and all those things for the application of civil engineering. So I think that's something that the civil engineers are not adequately taking the lead in the startups in this area. It is other domain guys who are looking at the applications of civil engineering and bringing the expertise into civil engineering, to civil engineering applications. So this is so what I'm saying is, if you're not aware, today the use of drones is increasing considerably. If I want to do my inspections or I have to do a small repair work somewhere, you have drone technology to go do all those things. So you should be familiar with all these new evolving technologies, and then of course AI and data science related topics, you should be aware. Otherwise you'll be left out, right? So you have to keep reskilling yourself, upskilling enough while not losing your fundamentals. That is important, because people get fascinated by this thing and they think software is there and use that as a black box, and then you limit yourself into your ability to really manage that whole thing.
Yeah, I think, if you look, I studied civil engineering, almost 40 years ago. We had excellent structural professors, steel, concrete design, then, geotechnical. And those concepts are like, it's almost in your blood now. So as soon as I see a structure or, look at a calculation, I immediately know what's going on. Because the basic concepts are, very, very strong. And that will stay with you for the rest of your life. So you should make sure you get your concepts, your fundamental concepts strong. The other thing, of course, is I think there is also one Mr. R.V. Chakrapani who runs R.V. Associates. He was saying, embrace technology, new ideas, new ways of doing things. We talked about drones, we talked about precast. Always say, how can I do this differently? How can I do it better? How can I do it faster? The last thing maybe on the industry, evolving industries, of course, AI. So we collected this data, and Ashrit sent me a presentation. He said 38.4% of the respondents said this and 76.2% said that. I said, how did you count all this? So he had used, I think, some AI tool to read all the responses and say what it knows. How much was salary mentioned, how much was work-life balance mentioned. And so, AI is going to be, is going to be a big thing, I think. And so, the sooner you embrace new ways of doing things, the better you will be in all industries, I'm sure. Any specific questions on this, the way this profession is emerging?
So given the significant shrinkage of the curriculum for B.Tech students and the technological advancements requiring us learning a lot of technical expertise to go on with the market, will it be advisable for a B.Tech graduate to go on and leap in with the industry so that it will be feasible for him to tap in all the opportunities? Or will it be advisable for him to do MS or M.Tech to get in the technical expertise to lead the industry, either in entrepreneurship or any other technical strong field?
So the question was, is it better to already go out into the industry after B.Tech and then have the exposure there?
And I have a follow-up question for that.
Or to do an M.Tech but I guess it depends on the kind of company you go to. If it is a modern company if you look at what Mr. Just now, Subramaniam, he showed, you look at L&T, all the kinds of new technologies they were trying. I would say you would get a lot of opportunities there.
So if, let's say, a person is advisable to go and do M.Tech as well to get in a lot of technical expertise that you want to go into the industry. So a lot of us, as we all mentioned, that we accidentally or got into civil engineering at the age of 17 years or something. So if a kid is getting to know that if he wanted to leap into the civil engineering industry, he need to effectively study for 6 years and then a couple of years with low salaries and all. So will a kid of 17 years old will be able to choose civil engineering given all these constraints? And effectively, if he got into some other IT or CS branch, he'll be getting good package after 4 years of his graduation.
That's a very tough question. I don't know, Satya, you want to say something or shall I?
Yeah, you should.
See, what should I say? If there is a reason why you love civil engineering.
So ideally, if we are not into the civil engineering, we never thought that I love civil engineering, so I took civil engineering. I don't think so. Most of the panel people
So there
said
are some panelists. I think Vimla was one who, and also Pavani, through encouragement with her from her mother, they said civil. They stuck to it. They were very clear. I think Vimla was particularly clear. So if you're in that situation, you're in a good space. You know what you want. This is where you want to go. You keep going, no matter what other people say. Many of us, we got civil engineering because of our rank.
Even I got civil engineering because of my rank. So I chose civil engineering.
Yeah, but actually, I'm a little bit in on the space that whatever you get, if you really hate it, you should go out. But if you don't, and there is joy in everything, whether you're a chemical engineer or an electrical or aeronautics or civil. So for the people, what I'm saying is for the people who find civil engineering interesting or purposeful, you should stay the course. You should stay the course and stick to it. I mean, my luck was I did not waver at all. And I just kept going, and at the end of the day, I did quite well. Many of us are like that. The problem today is there are so many distractions, so much, there's so much peer pressure or distractions. And so if you are wavering, then you get a little confused. But if you say, look, I'm going to go to computer science, one of my classmates, civil engineering also, he went to did M.Tech civil, then he did M.Tech computer science, and then he went and worked for HP. Sure. It's okay, but that's what he wanted. But I would say that be clear about what you want to choose, is my suggestion.
I'll just quickly add to it. So, see, the whole reason why Dr. Raju is taking this session is from a mentoring perspective, because as a 17-year-old, or now you may be a 20-year-old, you don't have the big picture. We have gone through that whole length, right? And saying that, yes, immediately you get a high-paying job, but you start hitting roadblock at 40, right? If you go the IT side, but if you're getting into financial, that's a different issue, right? So we're trying to give you that perspective for you to take a call now, decision. But if you say in 17, I get this thing, I'm still stuck in my 17, why I got into this and so on, there is no path forward, right? You already into civil engineering, and once again, both of us said civil engineering was not our first choice, but the moment we got into civil engineering, we embraced civil engineering. Okay, we got immersed in civil engineering. Okay, from those days, I think we started our branch only in the third year. First 2 years was common courses. So once you got into civil engineering, we were fully into it. Okay, though it was the thing. So that is the point. Okay, it's not that we were like all the 4 years lamenting, or 5 years that lamenting, why am I still doing this? I should have got it at that time, I didn't get it. We fully immersed, right? So I think that helped us succeed eventually. Yeah.
See, the other thing is, on what do you base that I like this or I don't? Now, I was in the civil engineering department. I wasn't particularly fond of it. But having completed that, I said, let me explore what that takes me to. So I went into a construction job, which I loved. Okay, it was like I was meant to be. I used to work 18 hours a day, no tiredness. Even though it was in a remote place, I discovered so much joy. I was kind of meant for that, right? Which I didn't know when I was on campus. When you're sitting in the classroom and doing courses on structures or whatever, you don't really discover all that, okay? So you should allow yourself to. The reasons for why you say, oh, I don't like this, you haven't fully explored it even. Give yourself that opportunity to explore. See, the point we've been constantly making is you're doing this for a long period, right? So what happens on the day you graduate doesn't matter. On the day you graduate, someone else is obviously going to be getting the bigger paycheck. Okay? The question is really, after 20 years, right? What state will you be at? So allow that exploration.
Thank you.
1 minute answer. When you are saying a 17-year kid does not have a clarity of taking civil engineering or not, I have a 12-year son. When he is at 10 years, I asked him one question. I have shown my CEO achievements and all, and I was saying him, will you become a CEO? He said, Mama, please don't ask me to become a CEO. Why, da? What is the clarity that you have on that role? I have to give money from my pocket. I am not so generous to give money from my pocket. So when a 10-year kid is having a clarity, definitely you people will be having a clarity. It's only one thing. Very few, like in the starting of the career, necessity will drive you. After you understand the depth of the subject, necessity with passion will drive you. Once after that, necessity will be enough. You should be greedy. If I have a 1 BHK, I'll be looking for a 2 BHK. If I have a 2 BHK, I'll be looking for a 4 BHK. So that necessity will be always there. So at certain point of time, only your passion will drive. So that can be possible. That passion will be there in such a course like civil engineering. I don't think that some other branches will have such a passionate work to be done. So this is what from my end.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah, so this question of clarity, I think you find your calling. You find your calling. I think one of the things which actually also is trigger for me for this to arrange this workshop was I felt a little sad when, you are in your second or third year, you don't like what you're doing, you think somewhere else is better, and then, you're not sure. I said, okay, at least for the people. And the sad part is for the people who want it, they are not confident. That they say, I want to do civil engineering, but I'm not sure if this is the right place for me. You're afraid of the future. So for them, I want to say, look, there is a strong future. The initial stages will always be difficult. Everywhere there is some challenge. But, there is a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of, and also salaries can be very, very good. You heard of numbers in the crores, yeah? So
you're a B.Tech from IIT Madras? Okay. Which faculty in IIT Madras make the maximum money? Most money? It's civil engineering faculty. I'm serious. It all civil engineering faculty are the one who make the maximum money in IIT Madras. For that matter, any IIT or many engineering college, because they have so much consulting opportunities. If they wish to, some people don't wish to encash it as much, but there are even faculty members who make 1 crore a year on consulting. The thing is, our students don't know that, right? Our students are not aware of this. Right? Some of them make double the salary of the other faculty. Your basic salary is okay. I'm talking in terms of consulting salaries. Basic salary, everyone gets the same, whether you're a maths prof or a civil engineering prof.
Excuse me.
Sorry. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Urvashi from Dayanand Sagar College of Engineering, Bangalore. It's not about a shift of career, but when I choose civil engineering, I choose it myself. When I choose civil engineering, my initial interest was in structure and all this, and like buildings and everything. But as the courses like geo-environmental were introduced to us, like global warming related to environmental engineering, my interest shifted more to like environmental related. So what could be the like future scope or anything related to what can I do for the further studies? Because still now we have all like discussing about structure, geodesy, everything.
No,
but like
see, with climate change, the problems we have, air pollution, water pollution, environmental engineering definitely has a huge requirement in the country, right, to address this. So if you're really interested, do a master's in that area. You're a B.Tech student?
I'm a BE student.
BE student, okay. Do a master's in that area. Again, if you get into environmental engineering, you could specialize in water quality, you can specialize in wastewater treatment, you can specialize in air quality, right? You could specialize in solid waste management. There are so many, again, areas to be the same. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there with the problems we are facing. Out of the 10 most polluted air polluted countries in the country, 8 of them are in India, right? We need to clean up all the mess. So we need passionate people like you to go and do this.
Thank you.
I think there is a key point there. I think many of us, I mean, I remember in school, many of us wanted to be mechanical engineers. Okay, so we got civil engineering. And many of us wanted to be structural engineers because structural engineering was seen to be the coolest one. Then I ended up being a geotechnical engineer. He ended up doing construction management. Environmental engineering, I mean, I think what he said, do a master's, that means you should become a specialist. That means then specialists will always have a demand. And the whole thing around water, shortage of water, water treatment, all that is going to become a bigger and bigger problem. Actually, tomorrow at the networking session, there is somebody from M.Tech way back. He's a water resources engineer. If you come for the session tomorrow, you can also meet him and get his expert advice.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the last question was actually about money, but I think we already talked quite a lot about money. What do you think should happen with the compensation levels of civil engineering? This is one of the questions the student said I should include. I think we have talked about it, but is there any specific question that you would like to still bring up? Yeah, there's one there.
Yes, hold the mic close.
Myself Kirti. So you're audible.
Yeah, just tell it.
Okay. Myself Kirti. So when I was having a conversation with one of my father's friend who works in R&D department in roads, he like I was asking a career path, like I was getting a recommendation, like sorry, not a recommendation, like I was asking him what way is best for civil engineers. So like everyone opt for garment sector, right? So as he was a garment engineer, so I asked him like, sir, do you feel happy if I get into garment sector? Because I was interested in getting into a garment sector in roads. So as he was in roads, I asked him the same question. He answered me like, he asked me not to get a job in India. I asked him why. Like he told me that he was right now he is in a position of deputy engineer in roads. He told me that when he had into the department as a junior engineer, it took more than 20 years for him to get into get a promotion into a deputy engineer. So what would you suggest us with that statement? Is India not having opportunities in garment sector for civil engineers?
Shall I? I think it's a very good question. So the India that we graduated in, was a very traditional, old model civil engineering industry. Even L&T at that time, 80s, 90s, the way the engineers were treated, the salaries that were paid were not like at a top level. But now the modern India, particularly, you said, India discovered that you need infrastructure to grow. There's a lot of emphasis on infrastructure. So if you are in the government sector, they also do fantastic work. They also do very important work. And, that's also definitely an option for you to work in the government. But the industry outside, what L&T is building or what we are doing with high-speed rail, what Tata Electricals are doing with wafer fab plants, hospital construction. It's a very dynamic environment and it's a very fast-moving environment, and then the opportunities are many. So yeah, I went abroad. I did well, but when I come back, I see that India is also developing in that direction and also changing very quickly. And I think we will also be. We may not be dollar to dollar at the same level, but from a purchasing power parity, I think we'll also be in a very good space. So I don't think you need to go outside India. You'll be fine here. So.
Yes. So one more question for the female civil engineers, because being a civil engineer, like we females have a fear, though we had a confidence. Even I was confident in doing a civil engineer that even I can do when I get into a job. So how would you deal with your co-workers? Like when you are into your company, how do you deal with your co-employees or your like labor or someone when you visit a site?
Actually, being lady civil engineer, it's a privilege. The way you get respected while you go to site, the way they treat you, even in the guest house also, for example, I'm telling you, even if a very senior is there in the L&T guest house, they'll be vacating for a woman employee, even she is in a lower cadre. That's what the respect that you get. They will be following up till the moment you get boarded into flight and the moment you reach again back to your house, there will be a lot of follow-up from the organization and as well as from the site team, and both the people will be taking care of you. So it's a privilege for you to be in such a platform from my end.
Maybe my side also similar response, like being in Keller, like they take care of all employees' safety. Being a civil, like a female engineer, they'll take care of it where you are going, but there won't be so much follow-up, but I just update because basically in Keller, we day-to-day discuss with our site team. So it's like not like a separate team. We know each other, so I never felt insecure whenever I visit site, and I continuously worked at site for 6 months. I never feel, because we help each other whenever I feel I'm not having any idea. We normally discuss each, like in our everyday job, it is like our routine to talk to our site team and touch with them. So we know each other, even though we are not meeting, but we have a contact through phone or through Teams. So we are being a same organization and same organization colleagues, so they respect. And whenever we go for a site visit or any client meetings, I always feel happy because I'm not like everyone. I'm separate. I'm different from others because most of the time in the meeting or in site visits, I am the only female engineer, so I'm proud to be there. So I'm happy, and I feel always secured. I never feel anything different, and I'm fortunate to, maybe I just add, I'm fortunate to have my boss, Mr. Madan. He never asks, are you comfortable to go? He says, you go. It is like I'm happy because it is not like a gender bias. Being a woman, if you are not getting opportunity, we should feel. If somebody is asking without, you need to go, you need to solve this problem, means I should be happy because there is no gender bias.
You're treated equally. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, even I face the same issue because some of my friends and even my father's friends also asked me not to join civil engineering. I don't know why they compare with men all the times. Even civil engineer can also be a woman. These days, the days got changed, right? So I just want to make sure I could get a clarity. If I was working in a company, so I might be strong enough, I might be good enough, I feel that. But my parents doesn't. So I just want to make a clear compensation with that. Thank you.
Maybe you can give confidence to them. There won't be any problem and you can give confidence that whatever is there, I can manage. Then they'll be happy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, very good answer, very good question, and very valid question. Actually, I am actually guilty of probably trying to take too much care. Then you make sure they're okay, and actually you should not overdo that. You should let them figure it out. So then the other thought I have is actually just want to share is, discrimination. That means, oh, you are a woman, so you are not equally good. Is what you think? That means you are discriminating against yourself. That means if you are going into a meeting of all men, if you say, oh, I'm a woman, they may not respect me, you are discriminating against yourself. Actually, everybody else is fine. They respect you for what you are and where you are. So just watch. Are you the one making that assumption? Are you good enough? So if you are confident, you should be good enough. So now it is 3:50. I'll just close the session. But I'll just have one last question anybody wants to ask, and then we'll close it.
So, hello sir, myself Harishankar. So, my question is that I had heard from many people that civil have many scope in business opportunities, there is a lot of business opportunity for civil. So, but I don't know, I personally want to start a business kind of thing in the civil field itself, but I don't know how to start, where to start. So is there anything what we could do for it, and also if an MBA or something would help me to pursue in my future, So can you just discuss on that?
You want to say something?
Yeah, so I agree definitely. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity in civil because the scale of industry is massive. Like, I mean, we just walk outside, you see buildings only, right? I mean, so much of work is happening in civil and so much of money is there in civil. So it's tremendous opportunity. It's just like, we need to figure out how to tap into that. So, and civil is also field right now, there's a lot of efficiency that can be, improved in the current manner in which it is doing, right? So we have to identify, okay, what are the areas it can be done slightly differently, but in a better manner. And that becomes, an opportunity we can tap into. So, but it's a tremendous opportunity. I mean, there are different kinds of projects happening, and not only buildings. Buildings is just one small aspect, right? In the civil, there are like roads, there are bridges, railways, like so many things are there. And with the new technologies, steel-based structures, precast structures, so this entire shift that is happening, so there's tremendous opportunity. And other aspect is on the software side, BIM modeling, how do we there's so much of coordination needed. There are like, architect, there is structural engineer, there is, MEP, there is like site works that is happening. So much of coordination is needed. In the current practices, there might not be so much of, coordinated effort happening. So there is opportunity there in bringing like new softwares to make it like more coordinated, bringing more efficiency. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunity in this.
So by the way, how could I like get into the field? Like, how could I find the fund like for it, for the business? How could I pursue it?
So there's actually, are you here a student here?
No, sir, I'm from VIT Chennai.
VIT Chennai. So I think, there is this whole ecosystem around entrepreneurship and innovation, and I don't know whether you will also have access, but give me a call later. There is actually a GDC Center for Innovation here at IIT. I don't know if non-IITians have access, but I can find out. And then, maybe, because it's a whole ecosystem around innovation, entrepreneurship, and, somehow we'll try and, get you connected.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I just want to say a big thank you to, sure, go ahead. Last question. Now, one more question. Just, sure.
Hi everyone, so I'm Aijaz. I am actually a graduate engineer trainee at L&T, so I'm not a student. So I'm very close to what you guys are experiencing right now. I just want to add a few things. First thing, sir, your speech was very impeccable of what you said about site, the harsh working conditions and all such. I could witness it is so accurate. Something I want to say is, I too accidentally ended up in civil engineering because of my rank. I studied in PhD College, Coimbatore. I never felt like civil engineering is something I have ended up unfortunately, and I want to make a living out of it. So it is more like, while I was in 12th, I had a purpose, like I want to contribute or make a difference in society, and engineering is a test of time, is a thing which you should not see as a stock market where you could invest some and earn some money, but it is a tool where you could achieve your purpose. So when I was seeing my degree in this perspective, I was just looking out for what I could do through this engineering, and I was nibbling around some silly ideas, such as I thought I could make some homes where like off-grid homes where it produces its own food, water and electricity. That will help middle class people to survive even though if they don't get a job. That will reduce their pressure. I was thinking in that way, and it's just a perception you have to think about. And all I want to say is, first get your hands dirty even before you make a call. Go into site, I'm personally in site execution. I know how hard it is at the site, and I came to this event to see who is my senior management from L&T who was coming, and it's so good to meet you, ma'am. And you were very inspiring actually. And I just want to say, get your hands dirty even before you make a call, because you have no idea what industry is. and you have no idea what you are, what do you want. I just ask yourself one question. Let's say if computer science graduates are getting placed of 6 lakhs and civil engineering graduates are getting a placement of like 10-12 lakhs. Obviously, would you be choosing computer science degree? So what is it you are seeking for? Is it the core? Is it the passion for the subject, or is it the money? So with this note, I just want to ask one question, sir. When I was in engineering, even though my colleagues had only one factor that mattered. So the thing is, we always are in a dilemma because we have a set of choices, whether we should do an MBA or M.Tech or go for a business or whatsoever. It's just we have a set of choices and we don't know on what factors should we make a choice. So the primary factor which we consider is money. So we need to earn some money and all such. But sometimes it could be like CSE people are working in some cozy environment with chill culture, whilst we are working in some scorching sunlight. So there are certain factors which will change according to time. So I just want to ask, what is the factor which is not deceptive, which is real, which we should consider at this stage, as we are not as matured enough as you people are. So that will actually help us to make right choices. And at last, I just want to say, engineering is again a test of time. You should just go with it, be patient, and like Sir said, let the life happen. But open your ears, listen to every notion of what your heart says along the journey, and that will guide you. Thank you.
Factor. I mean, this is a bit of a discussion around that. I think we have 3 minutes, so I'll try and make it a quick answer. I think fundamentally, if you look at that way forward, I think the first thing is like, if you are on this table, you have the education of civil engineering. Make sure you do it well. Make sure you do it well, and then you think about what is it that you want to do. Satya, for example, we all went through confusion. We all went through confusion. Like, should I do a job? Should I do master's? Should I go to the US? Should I not go to the US? And actually what I find, whether you call it destiny or fate or whatever, some doors will open. This door of doing a master's here or this job at this company will open. And one of my things is, unless it sounds something very bad, just walk in. Just walk in with all your energy, all your passion, all your thing, and just do it. And then, of course, if 2 doors open, then you pick the best door. But if you keep saying, oh, there's 2 doors open, but maybe another one will open, let me wait, you're sort of in a confused state of mind. I would not suggest that. So just go for it. Just go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, I want to ask, to be specific, what is that exact personal gain? For me, at this age, it could be money, but at that age, what is that personal gain which drives you to do what you are doing? Is what I wanted to ask.
I think
it could be like job satisfaction or some such, or.
I mean, let me say, if you find a purpose in civil engineering, I mean, for me, I'm a big believer in the higher purpose. The higher purpose. That means, what difference does what I do make in somebody else's life? But I mean, I know that is difficult for a young person trying to make a living or get a salary. Parents have spent a lot of their money to take a loan and pay for your education. You should take a job that gets you the money. But if you can find a meaning or a purpose behind that, if you can find, then I would strongly. Satya found meaning in teaching students, even though it was not, and that's how he chose it. Because deep inside, you need to be happy. And I don't know if money will give you that happiness above a certain level. I mean, once you have a certain amount of money, I think the money doesn't give you that deep sense. I mean, Pawan talked about providing, water for people, for children, for villages. So actually search for that purpose, and don't just give up. Don't say, oh, I just need to go. This one is 6 lakhs, that one is 12 lakhs, I'm going for 12 lakhs. Think about it. What is this thing? What is this thing? One of my classmates went to IIM Then, finally he was selling some credit cards or something like that. He hated it, even though it was paying much more money. He came back to becoming a structural engineer. Now he is a chief engineer for Nagpur Metro, for all the overhead construction. He loves it. So that if you can look for that purpose is what I would say. Okay, thank you so much to everybody for, particularly the panelists for taking the time. Thanks to all of you for coming and, listening patiently. I hope it was useful. And thanks to the CEA team. What I would request is if we can get a quick photograph of the panelists, just the panelists first, and then maybe also with the entire CEA Fest team, a group photograph in the front. So, yeah. Okay. This thing actually continues tomorrow. If you still want to learn or meet people from the industry, then, tomorrow morning at the Student Activity Center at 9 o'clock, you can join us. So you... Question? Yes.
Hari.
You have to go to the station.
Good evening, sir.
What's up? Quick picture. Just take it here. Take it here. Get a picture. You're taking okay.
Please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
गुड इवनिंग सर. मुझे तो बहुत खुशी, हिंदी में बोल रहे सर, इंग्लिश नहीं आते. मुझे तो बहुत हैप्पी हो रहे हैं. क्यों बोले तो मेरा बेटा इंजीनियरिंग पढ़ रहे हैं, सिविल इंजीनियरिंग. उन्होंने बोले थे मुझे नहीं सिविल इंजीनियरिंग इंटरेस्ट नहीं, मुझे CS करने का है बोल रहे थे. मैं बोली सिविल इंजीनियरिंग करो. क्यों बोले तो 2 रूट है इसमें. क्यों बोले तो एक गवर्नमेंट जॉब होते, अगर नहीं हुए तो कंपनी में जॉब करते हैं. अगर CS करे तो क्या होते, एक ही कंपनी में होते. इसलिए नको करके मैं CS करे. उन्होंने मेरे बात सुन के सिविल इंजीनियरिंग करे जी. बहुत खुशी हो, मेरे बात सुने ना मेरा बेटा, बहुत खुशी हो गए. आज तो ये इवेंट में मैं देखी तुम्हारा सब का स्टोरी, वो सर का स्टोरी देखे सुबह में, और तुम्हारा मैडम का भी एक्सपीरियंस सब पूछ के बहुत खुशी हो गई मुझे तो. क्यों बोले तो इतना एक्सपीरियंस आपका सुने ना, मेरा बेटा को भी मैं बोले सो अच्छा करे ना, इसलिए बहुत हैप्पी हो गए. आपका सब एक्सपीरियंस सुन के मुझे बहुत खुशी हो गई. मैं गुलबर्गा से आई हूँ. हाँ, पेरेंट्स हो ओके सर.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Let's take a picture. Get everybody together. CEA team. They helped a lot, so they come. I used to be Vice Secretary CEA 1982. I was student. Then I was advisor CEA in 92. How will you get everybody? How will I take it from there? actually get this all. Very cool. Stand up. Huh? All stars. All. Okay. Everybody else good. Okay. Huh? All like this? Okay. That's too much height difference. Come up. Everybody come. Everybody come. Okay, whatever you like. Okay, thank you. All the best.